War Games is done. Cody, Jay, Sammy, and late replacement John Cena have beaten the Judgment Day and Bloodline combination, but the celebration is completely ruined and their already battered bodies get even more destroyed because it's Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes. The whole crowd is stunned. No one knows why this is happening. Breaker and Hayes take out Jay, Sammy, and Cena, but they oddly leave Cody, and it's by design. Orton is back, but what is this? He's flanked by two of the most exciting young stars in WWE, and on the following episode of Raw, it starts to become very apparent. Orton says that he's been gone for so long, he's been able to sit back and notice that the business hasn't evolved. And he says, "You will all bear witness to another evolution. We don't care who stands in our way. We will eliminate the past, the present, and the future." And it begins with very much the present when Jey Uso wants to face off with one of the culprits in Hayes, and they absolutely tear it down in the ring as expected. Jey is determined to shut up Evolution even before it begins, but Hayes shows exactly why he's been handpicked by Orton as well. He's showing the here and now in Jey how tough the future is gonna be. But as he springboards off, he gets collected by a super kick out of nowhere. And Jey goes up top. He leaps off for a splash, but he gets caught out of nowhere by a spear. The bell rings and the match is over, but the beatdown carries on because Hayes and Braun are taking it to Jey. But it doesn't last long because here comes Sami Zayn. He runs down and it's now his chance to get at Braun in an official match. But Hayes hits him with a massive dive on his way to the ring. He picks him up and smashes him off the steel stairs. Then he throws him in the ring and he's ripe for the picking. Sami barely gets to his feet, the bell rings and Breaker nails him with a spear, and just like that, Evolution and Braun Breaker have their first win since arriving. And the ruthlessness just continues. Both men splinter off to continue the beatdown on both. And now, the leader, the figurehead, the Viper strolls out casually and says, "This is what Evolution is about. Making a mark and changing the industry. And part of it is stamping out mediocrity like this. And this is only the beginning because Cody Rhodes is here for the save. He slides in the ring. He avoids a Braun Breaker spear, but then he gets collected by Hayes and the numbers win out again. And just like that, Cody is down, Jey is down, and Sami is down. And Orton gets in the ring and looks down at Cody at ringside and says, "You three are part of the problem." The here and now that is just content with towing the line, just like Cena back in the past when he towed the line. Well, now we're teaching you all a lesson. This isn't your fairy tale. This isn't your story. This is Evolution. And this business has already gone past you. And we have already gone past you. Orton, Breaker, and Hayes have made a dominant return. But Cody, after the show, limps backstage and has a message for them all and says, "If anyone has evolved in this industry, it's me. It's Sami Zayn. It's Jey Uso. We were pigeonholed for years, all overlooked one way or another. But now Randy wants to come and play the card that this place has gotten complacent in his absence. Well, we'll show them what complacency is all about. Royal Rumble. Jey and Sami want Braun and Carmelo, and that's great because I want Randy one-on-one to see who's truly evolved. 2 massive matches are asked for and approved by General Manager Adam Pearce, but also he wants to give fans a real taste of what's to come, and he sets up a blockbuster main event on the eve of the big show. And it's Randy Orton's first in-ring appearance in months. But he's on the apron. He's letting the next generation, the innovators of this evolution, show what they can do. And once again, they impress. The stage that Orton has helped thrust them on, they seem to be very comfortable with. But Cody is so determined to get to Orton. He's able to dispatch Hayes, and then he hits Breaker with a Cody cutter and throws him into the corner, and he wants Orton to tag in, and he does. The crowd rises. Orton and Rhodes come face to face, and it looks like they're finally gonna go. Breaker spears Rhodes and then follows through and spears Sami Zayn as well. Hayes is recovered, he gets hold of Jay, and now Randy is stalking Cody Rhodes. He wants the RKO, he jumps up, but Rhodes counters into an inside cradle, and Rhodes unbelievably steals the win. Cody Rhodes quickly rolls out of the ring, and Orton is furious. It's a huge shocker, no one saw it coming. Just when we thought Evolution had all the momentum, it's now hit a roadblock in the form of Cody Rhodes, and Orton isn't taking it well. And another chaotic brawl breaks out all around the ring. Orton and Rhodes are still locked eyes though. They still haven't touched. The chaos brings out Adam Pearce, who wants to bring this under control as he can see where this is threatening to take itself. And Adam Pearce says, "It's clear that this place isn't big enough for both of you, and I'm not going to let this hijack my show. So I'm willing to do a deal. I'm talking to Nick Aldis and SmackDown, and I'm saying that the loser of this match gets traded to the Blue Brand." It's huge stakes. Raw already not big enough for both Orton and Rhodes. We've never seen anything like it. And when we arrive at the Royal Rumble, it heats up even more because Jay and Sammy are trying to get the better of Hayes and Breaker, and the match tears the house down as we'd expect. This is very much the here and now versus the future, and it's the here and now that are in control. They're working so well as a team, considering Sammy and Jay have such a rich history within the bloodline. But it's another member of that family that rears their head and gets involved again. Jimmy leaps over the barricade, and Jay sees him, goes after him, leaps off the apron to take him out, and he's hammering away on his brother. They can't take their eyes off each other, but they do take their eyes off the match, and that's all Evolution needs. They hit a stunning double team on Sammy, and they pick up the win. Jay and Jimmy fight off through the crowd, and Sammy just watches in complete disappointment. Jay has abandoned him again, and Evolution bask in their win. But will Orton be doing the same when he makes his much anticipated singles return? The last time these two faced each other in a singles match, Cody's career was on the line 10 years ago. Now it's just his status on Monday Night Raw. And with how well these two know each other, it's almost like a pure game of chess. Orton has accused Rhodes of leading the charge of mediocrity since he's been back, but Rhodes argues that he's evolved more than anyone. And he shows why. He counters everything except for when Orton happens to catch him in the ropes with a hangman's DDT. And Rhodes is stunned. He's in big trouble. And this is always the precursor for an RKO. But as he leaps off for it, Cody counters it into an inside cradle again. 1, 2, no! Orton kicks out this time. He was ready, but Rhodes right away looks for a disaster kick, but Orton moves, and Rhodes is thrown off balance, and he finally gets hit with the RKO. It's eerily similar to how the match 10 years ago ended, and with that, Rhodes is off to SmackDown, and it opens the door for Evolution to take even more control. But not before Randy is joined by Carmelo and Braun. And they are egging Randy on from ringside to properly finish Rhodes off. And Randy walks to the corner, and he's going to punt him to finish him. The roof comes off. It's Cena, and he's back for revenge. Hayes runs at Cena, but he gets an AA. And now Breaker runs at Cena, but he gets one too. Cena is on fire, and he slides in the ring. Orton looks for an RKO, but Cena has it scouted, and Orton gets an AA as well. Cena flies back onto the scene. He dispatches Evolution, and then he helps up Cody, and he looks him in the eye and says, "You're looking at your trade to SmackDown. Now you go and finish the story, and I'll finish Evolution." Doesn't this look familiar? I'm getting a lot of deja vu right now. You guys are trying to make lightning strike twice, huh? Admirable. I haven't spoken to never mind. Hello, Randy. We don't talk to management. I guess I see the line in the sand, huh? Fair enough. Just be careful. There's some animals in the jungle these days. Good luck. Randy walks off from his former leader, and we find out that not only are we getting the blockbuster match at Elimination Chamber, but we get an epic face-off next week on Raw. But the legendary confrontations aren't just reserved for inside WWE. During a podcast recording with Ric Flair, Carmelo Hayes and Bron Breakker interrupt in the studio, and they stand up to Flair, and Breakker says, "What are we talking about today, Rick? You better be talking about us. Or are you going to ignore the fact that this version of Evolution is miles better than anything you did? Come on, Nature Boy. You're the best talker of all time, right? No words? What do you got for us?" And Hayes doubles down and says, "Yeah, come on, Rick. Give us a woo. Aren't you styling and profiling? What's wrong with you?" They say never meet your heroes. And I guess we still haven't. Make sure when you hit record on this show, the first words out of your mouth are, "I'm the luckiest man alive that Bron Breakker and Carmelo Hayes spared me." Flair seemingly narrowly avoids a beatdown, and Orton can't avoid the face-off with Cena when it arrives. These two have a long, storied history, and their battle at Elimination Chamber will almost certainly be their last, and that is at the forefront of Randy Orton's mind. You see, this is what I'm talking about. The past, the lack of evolution in this industry. John, you're still coming back wearing the jorts, wearing the fluoro, and these people, they still eat it up. It needs to go. It needs to evolve, John. My boys are the future of this industry, and I am the here and now. And Cena gets reflective and says, "I agree. I am the past. I've got a lot more of my career behind me than ahead of me. And I've said that, I've been open and honest, but my past is also your past, Randy. We've been to war so many times. And hey, I may be still wearing the jorts, I might be losing a step, but I'm sure as hell not losing in Perth. You want to talk about evolution? Let's talk about evolution. This business has evolved constantly since I've been here, and the name John Cena still gets people through the door and still gets people excited." But Orton cuts him off and says, "And that's the problem. We're here to show the people that this business has moved on. And to do that, I need to end John Cena. We need to end everyone who stands in our way. And it all starts at Elimination Chamber. And it won't be just you in our sights either. Not by a long shot." Breakker has speared Gunther nearly in half. Just as Randy said, Cena isn't the only person in their sights. Breakker wants the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion and a man who is very much the here and now. But the assaults don't stop. But this time, it isn't Carmelo Hayes calling his own shot. It's someone from his past that happens to be part of the future. You want to talk about the future? Well, you'd have no future if it wasn't for me carrying your ass in NXT. So now it's time to cash in my receipts. And you know damn well why. You want to attack me? Well, let's find out who really is him. Breakker attacks the here and now in Gunther. Mello is attacked by the future in Trick Williams. But now, it's time for Randy Orton to try and rid the WWE of what he considers the past in John Cena. But we know how Cena fights, and we know Cena never gives up. He's here to show everyone that he's done when he says he's done. And he manages to get Orton over near the announce table, and then musters up the strength to smash the Viper through it. But out of pure exhaustion, Cena is down as well, and the referee starts the count. But as he does, Breakker runs down. He knows this has to be the time to try and rally Orton. But just as he gets to ringside, boom! He gets collected by Gunther. He gets rid of that problem. Trick has already taken care of Carmelo, and Cena is stirring. He manages to get in the ring. The referee counts 8 and then counts 9. But Orton just makes it in. Cena picks him up looking for an AA, but it gets countered into a devastating RKO. Orton somehow gets over for the cover and just takes it for the win. What a war. Neither man with anything left. But Orton did say that he wants to fully eliminate the past. And right after the match, he once again goes to the corner and he has that look in his eyes. He hears the voices in his head and he says, I need to end John Cena. I need to kill the legend. Randy, hold on. Don't do this. It's Flair. He's trying to reason with Orton, a man he mentored, even after the two men that Randy is mentoring tormented him. And he gets in the ring and says, you shouldn't do it, Randy. It's not worth it. Please. But can a legend like Flair convince him? He gets right up in the face of Orton, and you can feel the tension. Surely he wouldn't hurt Flair. Batista, the animal, is back in the jungle. Flair exits the ring, Cena as well, but Batista enters it, and we get one of the all-time great stare-downs. What a moment! Spine-tingling! Batista, a former member of Evolution, and a man who has evolved into one of the biggest stars in the world, is back for one more round. But Orton tries to strike first. He looks for an RKO, but Batista powers out of it. Batista grabs him, looking for a Batista bomb, but he gets away. Randy Orton slithers out of the ring, and he lives to fight another day. And Evolution is now facing the task of taking out the past in Batista, the present in Gunther, and the future in Trick Williams. And it starts with the present when Bron Breakker is made to earn his shot at Gunther by facing Chad Gable in a blockbuster singles battle. And it's about as compelling and emotional a technical masterclass as it gets. The whole crowd is desperate for Gable to win. He's fought his way back into contention, but the fairy tale gets stuffed out as Breakker has his genuine breakout performance and stops Gable in his tracks. The crowd doesn't like it, but it's reality. The Evolution is in full swing, and in typical style, they want to further the pain. And as Bron is getting booed out of the building, he strips the announce table, and Gable is looking like he's going to go through. But once again, it's Gunther. He collects Breakker with another lariat, and now he takes Breakker over to the table, but Breakker counters and instead is able to power Gunther up and crash him through it. But Gunther can at least take some solace in the fact that he has a championship match against him at WrestleMania. But there's absolutely no solace for Trick Williams, who is the victim of a vicious 2-on-1 beatdown at the hands of both Orton and Hayes. Evolution have come out swinging, but Orton also has a message for Batista and everyone else on the roster. And he says, Dave, you see this? You see the kind of trouble you're in? No, you don't. Because you're not here. And you won't be here until WrestleMania, because here's the big announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Batista is coming back for one more match. Yeah, round of applause. Well, he might not be, because I'm putting out the word. $100,000 bounty right on top of Dave's wrinkly fat head. Anyone on the WWE roster who wants to make a name for themselves can find him, end him, and I will pay you. Sound familiar? Good luck even making it to Mania. Randy Orton essentially putting out a hit on Batista so he doesn't even make it to Philadelphia. And in the weeks to follow, we see Evolution go to the next level of power. They take on Imperium in a 6-man tag team match. and they're able to get the win, which then leads Gunther to completely snap on his teammates out of pure frustration. He ends the group, and we also see Trick Williams trying to get his hands on Carmelo, but with Braun and Randy constantly by his side, he wears a lot of punishment as well. But the most chaotic part is unquestionably the attempts made to claim the bounty on Batista's head. And it happens at all kinds of events. Movie premieres, press conferences, and even another while Batista was at the gym. It's rife. It's a low act from Orton, but it's what we've come to expect since the Viper has been back. And now, on the eve of WrestleMania, Evolution is in the ring, banging the drum about how perfectly their plan has worked. And Randy says, "Don't pretend like we didn't warn you. We are on the cusp of a proper evolution of WWE. Carmelo Hayes is here to prove that he's the undisputed future by ending that clown who rode his coattails in NXT. Bron Breakker is going to prove that he is the here and now by ending the record reign of Gunther. And I will eliminate the past." When I put, the fourth full stop on Dave's career? How many times has he retired? But that's only if he makes it. Because I got word on my way out here that we have some pretty interesting footage from earlier today. And I think the bounty may have actually been claimed. Roll the tape. As the footage rolls though, it's not what they expected at all. It's Batista manhandling two different superstars who are trying to claim it. And when the camera is close up to Randy's face, you hear him say, Is that this building? Orton attempts to send Hayes and Breakker after him, but they get dragged out of the ring by Gunther and Trick respectively. And now, the all-in brawl is on all over the arena. Batista and Orton are going at it in the ring. Trick and Carmelo are throwing hands, and the two brutes are throwing everything at each other as well. It's all come apart. No one's backing down, but something has to give in Philadelphia. And it's the past, present, and the future all looking to be claimed by Evolution. And the first match is to determine who will be the undisputed future when former friends Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes do battle on the biggest stage of their lives. And when both men lay it all on the line, it's Carmelo Hayes that is able to pull it out of the fire in a super close call. And he does it all on his own, because that is the orders of the leader, Randy Orton. They want to prove that they have all evolved into the biggest singles talent in the WWE. And the next man up to go on his own is Bron Breakker when he takes on the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time and very much the here and now in Gunther. And these two are on fire. It's pure physicality at its best. Both men hit hard and both men hit often. They take each other to the brink of exhaustion. It's the most brutal match of the night. Gunther gets close to back-to-back WrestleMania retentions, but even despite having Bron almost unconscious in a choke, he still manages to stay alive, sends him off, spears him, and follows it up with a military press and drives him down. And just like that, Bron Breakker hands Gunther his first pinfall singles loss since these two last faced in NXT. Bron is Gunther's kryptonite. And Bron, even though he's the youngest member of Evolution, is very much the here and now. But the job isn't done. There's still a legend to kill in the eyes of the Viper. And Orton and Batista go one-on-one one more time. Orton trying to banish the past, and Batista looking to end the evolution. And just like all the battles in the lead-up, Orton knows this opponent incredibly well. He's been through Rhodes, he's been through Cena, but the animal is a totally different beast. He might have been out of the ring for a long time, but he's still a physical force, and Orton struggles desperately with him. So much so that he seems like he's had enough. Orton hobbles off, and he's actually taking off up the ramp. But as he gets to the top, he gets cut off. It's a total full circle moment. Orton is now surrounded by his past, all while trying to erase it. But this might just be part of the Viper's cunning plan, because Batista comes up behind him, and he knew he would. He spins, coiled, and delivers an RKO on the ramp. He then looks at Triple H and Ric Flair and says, there might be animals in the jungle, but they're no match for the Viper. Orton smugly picks up Batista, takes him down the ramp, puts him in the ring, goes to the corner, and gives the very famous thumbs down to Batista. He then stalks him one more time, nails him with a final RKO, and banishes the past. They drew the line in the sand, and we see that evolution is no mystery. It's right in front of us.